no veas, a Sevilla. Y al último que cuando ya salió la bien de regla.
It is Friday on Raid Shadow Legends, but you knew that. Now, there's quite a lot for us to catch up on, isn't there? So, the first thing first is there is the Tea Party Titan event, which if you go all the way over to milestone 4 here, it will give you Cat's Gaze Relic, which is 20% defense red, completely for free. No conditions at all. There's also a 5-star soul for Mad Hatter, but who actually went for that guy. So, obviously, as you can tell, I've made a start on it, and the first major source of these points was going to be the Champion Chase tournament, which would also give Cheshire Cat to the first place position. Now, as you can tell, I picked out a bit. I opened a whole bunch of Ancient Shards because it's Ancient 2x, and I didn't bother recording it because Ancients are boring. Now, we did get quite a few things, not too many that are useful. However, we did get... oh! The new guy from the Alice's Adventure collab. Oh yeah, so... about him. So, I'm not going to read out his entire kit, but basically, HP Legendary, can steal buffs, heals your team, this, that. So basically, Emic Trunk Heart, A3 but on 1 turn less cooldown. And this switch can be a full heal to your entire team, including himself, a protected heal reduction. So, Proraton Amias, and he's just going to seethe and cope about it because he can't flip it over to anything else. And also increased defense. And his passive, which honestly is the weakest part of his kit. But am I going to build him? Yes. Is it going to be today? No. So there's that, and it was a whole bunch of Ancients. I don't really care, Ancients or whatever. And to go on to the actual video itself, because, okay, what was it you were wrong about for Lady Noelle then? Well, let's go over to her, shall we? So mine is not fully leveled, no blessing at all, didn't bother, and gear is not the best in the world, but in terms of what I'm going for here is more of a PvE build in terms of like healer, reviver. Now, I know that everyone has said that, yes, this passive is bugged, it just applies for decreased speed no matter what, and it's why people are using her to, you know, like, oh, you have a 480 speed Shuzen. Yeah, that's now a 432 speed Shuzen. Okay, so there's that. But if you go into the rest of what she has, single target block buffs that bucks up to 100% chance. Also this, which is not that relevant in most areas. You have either a polymorph removal, which also gives them 50% turn meter. Yeah, still the best polymorph counter is either not using debuffs, just don't play the game, or pinpoints, or you can just heal someone based off her max HP. That's why I've got a whole bunch of it, and then heals everyone else by the surplus. Also increased speed, 3 turn cooldown. Like, yeah, sure, your Sir Nicholas does this, but let's be honest, she's better off by herself most of the time. And then you have this revive, except it's one of those awkward skills where it either does one thing or another. Because we'll place a freeze debuff if there's no dead allies. So normally, on auto, it means she would just use this even if you want to save her revive, or vice versa. So it's a bit of a difficult skill to win with in that regard. And I had my concerns in terms of using her against bosses. Now, I know bosses can't be frozen apart from niche cases like Dreadhorn's bombs, so would she still use this even if there's no dead allies and nothing she can freeze? Well, let's go over to Hydra, shall we? Because, yeah, you know, Hydra, this is still relevant, honest. And over down a Nightmare, and we have a team here which has most things apart from a way to deal with Torment and decrease speed, because we are using Physics as a provoke bot, but Everything else is kind of as you would expect. And do not set an AI preset for this in terms of 1 and 2, because what we're going to do is we're going to show that the one thing that we all feared regarding Lady Noelle is actually not going to be the case, unless they've changed it in the past 24 hours. So we'll start the run, and obviously she begins with the A2 to give us increased speed. Just proceed to just power through things. And you notice there, Lady Noelle used her A1 to begin with, prioritising trying to block buffs and things, but you'd think, given Plarium's dodgy AI, she would attempt to use her A3, right? Just because it's a skill that she can use, can potentially target all enemies. But no, she doesn't. Actually, well, let me move there a little bit. This side. Actually, no, if there is nothing she can freeze and nothing she can revive, she just won't use the skill. Now, we are going to wait until someone dies randomly from something like Wrath one-shotting them, or like sort of Pain Link, because we don't have a cleanse. But she should use it then, but we shall be waiting. Now, as for this comp, it's pretty much as you'd expect. It's a whole bunch of percent damage, provoke to make sure that decay can't cleanse. We don't have decreased speed because of how Hydra works now in terms of Serpent's Will is 100% damage reduction, so if you put them under decreased speed, you're just going to waste more time in terms of cooldowns. So, fast forwarding to a bit later in the run where champions began falling down, we now have evidence that on auto, Noelle will use her A3 revive even if she can't freeze anything. Just for people who were unsure if she'd see that she can't freeze things and will just refuse to use it A3 entirely. Because it is Plarium champion AI, we have had more curious decisions taking place as a result. Now, as you can tell, this is probably not the perfect comp in this regard because champions keep falling over. In fact, I don't have a reliable decreased attack or too much in a form of protection, so this might need another go, but I've got the entire week to sort this out anyway. So, is she the best in terms of Hydra supports in that regard, even though it's increased speed, heal, full team revive, backup block buffs? No. Is she usable enough? I can imagine she is. Doesn't even need Sir Nicholas in that regard, because we all know that she doesn't actually prioritise Sir Nicholas with her A2. But, yeah. This was one where I think I got one shot at some point later on because I don't have the most in terms of protection or damage mitigation, apart from just increased defense from Marias. But, yeah. So, now we know. I'm glad to have been proven wrong, and that's all I have for you, so, yeah. That's all. See ya.